Mini Jake, the tribe has spoken.
Fuck you, Kevin.
Aw, fuck you too, sweetie.
I'm JJ, one of the original Tribe of Nerds members. You can catch me on Marvel, Pokemon, and other gaming podcasts.
What up? It's Josh, resident superhero nerd, but I also dabble in the occasional super villain as well.
Some may know me as the Chaos Gremlin, but really I'm just Joe King.
Pikachu, use Volt Tackle! Good job, Pikachu!
On the Tribe of Nerds. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Austin, Michael, and I are here for week 6 of Australian Survivor Brains vs. Brawn 2, and the last week with 3 episodes, because Australian Survivor just decided to go to 2 episodes for the last 3 weeks, which is an interesting decision.
Woohoo! For our schedule.
Yeah.
We get a night off.
Yes, we got a night off, which is going to be good for us in some other ways. But what did you guys think of this week 6?
All right. Well, thank you guys for covering me last week. I was missing because I was bowling the Masters.
Of course.
So I seen you guys held it down. So I had to catch up, obviously, just grinded through some episodes the past 2 days, and this has been an interesting turn of events. I mean, I remember saying like weeks ago, like, oh, AJ is overplaying and Miles is dead in the water, and now I just keep seeing these two on my screen like it's like Boston Rob and frickin' Russell Hands or some shit. It's kind of, I love it. I love seeing these two. There's some downfalls, obviously, with some players, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, I'm enjoying the season way more now with the merge. I definitely was going into the merge kind of like, dang, I did not like everyone who kind of had the energy was quickly gone immediately, and then it kind of took a plateau. But I mean, this past few episodes, man, oh my God, there's some drama. There's people on the bottom that just keep getting hit with the hammer like a nail. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael?
Yeah, poor Paulie, man. That guy can't catch a break.
No.
I mean, Austin, you said that maybe the merge would be chaotic, and you predicted that, and I think that prediction's been pretty accurate. The season has really picked up. I've enjoyed the last 2 weeks, and this week really built on the last week. So I think it's shaping up to be a pretty solid season. I know people are pretty down on it, but I'm really enjoying it. And it's funny you mention AJ, because AJ was someone I really enjoyed watching, but I just thought didn't really have the sense that he thought he had in the game. But he's doing really well. He's building good relationships. He does have connections everywhere, and he's actually playing pretty well these last couple of weeks since merge. I think without the hostage situation, I think AJ's game would be pretty great, but that whole hostage thing really soured people on him.
Yeah.
But he's recovered well from it. And like Miles, like the Rat King, is like one of the great Survivor characters. And if this season gave us anything, it gave us that.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was such a fun week. And for a non-elimination episode as well, within this week, I think it was done really well, and it leads to, a big tribal in the second episode. So yeah, this was really solid.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with both you guys. This post-merge has been nuts, and in a good way. And like, I think even the non-elimination twist, as you said, Michael, I thought it had some intrigue to it. Like I feel like there was some predictability. I'll get to that later, but there was also like so much intrigue within that. So I was okay with it. It's not the worst twist Australian Survivor has done. It's pretty okay. So. But yeah, let's get into it with episode 16 and anything before we get to the auction. You want to just get to the
Yes.
auction? All right, let's get to the
No,
auction.
no, I got something.
Oh, you do
No.
have something. Yes, go for it.
Yeah. We have yet another Steve Bradbury reference.
Oh, yes, another one.
Steve Bradbury just keeps racking up the references on Australian Survivor, and Kaelan thinks that he is Steve Bradbury and he's going to skate through right at the last minute and win. And you know what? He's my last draft pick. I didn't think he had much of a chance. I actually think Kaelan could win. He could do it. This is a good week for Kaelan.
I agree. I don't know, like comparing yourself to Steve Bradbury that you can just skate through. I mean, dude was a fifth boot, so I don't really think you can really compare your game to his. Austin.
Well, it might work out for him.
I'm just trying to think. Like, I have two complete like thoughts of Kaelan. Kaelan's either gonna go very far, or he's going to be seen as the optimal challenge beast, young kid who's loved by everyone at like very end of the game and just get screwed. I don't know which one yet, but his stock has risen tremendously for me watching him. Like he did very well with what he said. Like it was like episode 7, I think, where he stated he sat around and kind of let everyone do their thing, and now it's his time to start yapping it up, and he's absolutely done that. So he yeah, I've been watching him. I'm enjoying his game. I'm excited to see him the next week.
Yeah, I really think it's crazy because Kaelan should be a target because he is this young, strong guy. He really should be getting votes, and he still has not gotten a single vote cast against him all season. So good on him.
Yeah, he's playing really well. I think he was so underestimated, and early on he wasn't really involved strategically, and he kind of reminded me of maybe like a Jaden player who's gonna, be really well liked within the cast, but not really involved in the gameplay side of things. But I think it was strategic from Kaelan. I think he's being deliberately low key in that early game, and we are seeing that more strategic side of him in the swap and in this merge now. So I'm really happy with my one pick left. I can do this. I can still do this.
Yeah,
And you can get away with that too in this game. Like you're 24 people, you have 12 people on a tribe. You can kind of blend in and just be the cool guy for a minute. And then, I mean, he hit a swap, and then he kind of just did it again because there's so much fire happening.
right.
So he did it really well. He knew where he was in the game, like situation wise. He was like, okay, I don't need to even do anything yet. Like people like me. Like let's just keep it moving.
Right. Right. All right, well, let's get to the auction, and this is a really new twist on the auction. So basically, they each get to flip a coin. If they guess correctly, then they get to uncover one of the two items that are there. Otherwise, they just have to take a complete guess. And each of them are going to get a chance to do this. So that's new. But yeah, so Miles gets a loaf of bread. I mean, out there, I feel like bread would still be pretty good, so I wouldn't be mad at that.
I thought there was going to be an idol in it.
Yeah,
I was expecting it was a big
Yeah.
loaf. I thought he was going to dig inside and there was going to be something in there.
That would have been crazy, actually. I didn't even think about
that
that.
would have been. Yeah. And then next is a really funny one. Paulie's bad luck continues. He gets either a phone call home or a mystery item, and he picks the mystery item, and it is a pickle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might have thought about the gamble too, because I don't think I would have cared to call home, but
Mhm.
you have to think about it. They're not going to put two good like options out there, I feel like. So
Right.
when I see the phone, I'm thinking to myself, ooh, there's probably nothing better than the other one. So I don't know. I mean, he gambled, so
He did, but it's just really funny, like how dejected Paulie looks for getting a pickle.
I've been pissed
This
too.
this was like the start of Paulie's downward spiral that's going to take place over the course of these 2 episodes that he's still in the game.
Yeah.
He just looked so sad after the pickle. He did lead to good content though. I love that he immediately said no to the phone call. It was a really funny moment. I think we're going to talk about Paulie a lot. I think Paulie was such a fun casting decision on this season. He brought a lot to it despite nothing going his way.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised the pickle is what started his downward like his downward spiral of depression and crashing out because this dude has just been screwed every way, shape, or form.
Right. For sure, for sure. Kaelan gets rice. So
He's
I feel like,
excited.
yeah, I feel like Kaelan's the one guy that would be excited by rice.
Yeah, he was pretty happy. Simple
So
man.
Better than a pickle.
yeah, better than a pickle. Morgan gets a coconut drink. It's
That
cool.
was good.
Yeah. Karin gets a lemon meringue pie.
That
Uh,
looked good.
yeah,
That was the best one.
yeah, absolutely. Zara's gets steak and chips. So it might be that. That was the best one.
The problem is, I don't trust food on Survivor. There's no way
That's
that steak's good. It's going to be a cold steak and cold chips.
Yep, that thing's
that's
cold.
that's true. I mean, I think we'll get to the pizza later on with AJ, but or we can just mention it now. AJ gets pizza and Survivor pizza looks disgusting.
Yeah, I don't care what's under the other one. I'm risking it. I ain't having
Yeah.
that crusty old pizza.
It's like that lean cuisine you get out of the like freezer section. They kind of just tossed it in there and they delivered on a nice platter for you.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've never seen Survivor Pizza look good in any season in like what 60 seasons of this show internationally. So never.
I
I
just
mean,
try to
pizza
think about
has
how
like
they
a
deliver it.
30-minute sweet spot. If you don't have it in that 30 minutes, it ain't good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Kate gets a steal an auction item, then immediately Kristen gets lasagna and beer, which gets immediately stolen by Kate. So
100% stealing.
yeah. Give me the
100%.
lasagna. I don't drink, but I'll take the lasagna.
That would be so funny if you did some crazy thing where you ate the lasagna and then you just threw the beer. I would have died. Like, you know how many people would be going nuts next to you?
Oh my
It's
God, I
like,
that'd be hilarious if that was what I ended up getting at an auction and just pissing people off by throwing beer away.
Yeah, that's how you get voted out.
And then Logan gets the phone call home. So,
That
uh,
was sweet. Like she had a rough tribal last time. It was nice that she got that moment.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, this was a cool way to do the auction. I think it's better than what the new era decided to do. So, um, because obviously the new era is fascinated with people losing their votes. So,
y'all.
Yeah.
oh
I
my.
love an auction. I like that it was still your basic auction, but just with a fun little added element to it. Yeah. Yeah. Like the auction's great. I don't know how you can ruin it. It's so simple.
Uh, yeah, the way you can ruin it is be the new era, but yes. Otherwise it's hard to ruin. Um, but yeah, well, anything before we get to the next immunity challenge?
We do get the start of the plan to bring Kate and Morgan in from AJ to blindside Karin, and then we also get them trying to get the plan in place to split up Kate and Morgan on
Yes.
the opposite side of that to weaken AJ. So that's like the big dueling votes going into these couple of episodes. That's going to culminate in the third episode. So yeah, it's fun seeing these like slow play plans coming into place that obviously with a non-elimination everything gets thrown up in the air and it's almost like the full week. It takes the full week for them all to come to their conclusion and which side's going to win.
Yeah, yeah. That's one thing with the non-eliminations. They do make it have like that slow burn that can culminate in something. So I guess sometimes that can make better TV, and in this case, it did. So,
I
Yeah,
think
this was
it's
fun.
kind of funny that it took this long for people to be like, oh, AJ's trying to talk with Kate and Morgan when he's been talking to them since like the start of the actual merge.
right.
So yeah, I feel like these people are not as aware as AJ is out here.
No.
Any chance he gets, he's telling her how beautiful her eyes are.
Yeah, yeah. It's been really funny.
He's trying to chat with her in the damn challenge when they were just merging. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this dude's just out like, and people literally knew it too. They're like, he's an AI. He's just like got GPT. How do I talk to a human? And then nobody's being aware of the fact that it actually is working.
Right. It's so crazy. Like And we've had this like Girls Gone Wild that's been like a potential option that the girls are gonna get together and then they just don't. So
For a season that had like such a strong opening with the women coming together and like the coven and then Girls
yes.
Gone Wild, it really fell apart for the girls. And I don't know why they couldn't get on the same page, but there was so many fractures there where yeah, that kind of just fell apart. But like early on in the season, I was thinking this is going to be like maybe an all-girl final six, which would have been crazy. But yeah, it just didn't seem to come together for whatever reason.
No, it's wild.
I think it's just the chaoticness of this season, if I'm just
Hmm.
being honest. Like there's the three guys that kind of keep the girls from, going that direction. Like you have AJ who's just masterminding these people at this point. Miles is just so chaotically crazy. I mean, they almost are like almost feared to like do it, I feel like. And I don't think they trust each other anymore at this point. So
Yeah.
it's just like I mean, we'll see if we'll talk about the tribals, how they literally are talking 24/7 of these tribals. It's actually crazy how nuts this season is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that people are so open to making these giant live tribals.
Nobody trusts anyone. Like even the number ones don't even trust each other because they're voting for each other.
Right, right. Like Miles and AJ keep voting for each other. It's really funny actually. So, all right, let's get to the immunity challenge. So this is balancing a ball with one leg. Kate ends up winning the challenge, and so they're gonna find out going into the tribal that this twist is called the Bounty or Barren twist. So basically, Kate gets to pick the first member of the Bounty tribe, and then the two people with the most votes are gonna go to Barren, and then everybody else is gonna draw rocks to see who goes to either side. I mean, again, putting Survivor Fiji into these two episodes, it's an interesting decision to bring the haves versus have-nots. I feel like the predictability comes with, okay, of course, the people that have everything are going to have a humongous advantage because they're going to have energy, they're going to have like food, and I don't know, like to me, I thought it was going to be obvious, despite the best efforts of Paulie next episode, that the Bounty Tribe was going to come out of this with a win. But what did you guys think of this twist?
I was over the long term, I think this was like a pretty fun twist. I remember being very disappointed when I watched this episode because the build up to tribal council was really like fun and there was a lot going on with, they have this plan in place to split the vote on Morgan, Paulie, and Logan. And then AJ switches up the plan. That's when you get the big kind of blow up between Karin and AJ, and like the plan keeps changing. And she says she wants a divorce from him, her island husband. So I was really curious of how that tribal was going to go. So then that's when a non-elimination is kind of disappointing, where it's like all that conversation, all that planning has been put on hold. Um, but yeah, it does kind of come back up, so I don't mind it too much. But I think the splitting the tribes at this point was, I don't know. I quite liked it. There's way worse non-elimination twists in Survivor Australia, and
Yeah.
I like that Kate got some power in that decision as well. Because like when someone wins immunity and goes through all that physical pain to be in a non-elimination episode, it's like, what did I bother doing that for? So at least she got some positive that she could go there and bring her number one with her. So that worked out for her as well.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad Miles drew the bad rock because it led to a fantastic next tribal.
Absolutely, absolutely. Austin, your thoughts?
Yeah, so like before going into it, I mean, I felt a little uneased for Morgan. I actually felt like she might have either been one vote away or the vote going home. So I guess a twist kind of jumping into it excited me just because of that. But I mean, if I'm just chatting about the actual twist itself, I mean, I'm already awaiting the type of twists that Australian Survivor's gonna just toss in there. I mean, they like to try everything and anything once a season, and I mean, it kind of hit. It hit for me at least because of how it drew out. Say you put a few of the other people on the Barren tribe, I probably wouldn't have cared as much, but you almost put every single person except Kaelan on that tribe that was just chaotic and already sick and tired of this shit and
Yeah.
I mean, they're hating life. I'm sure we'll talk about that here in a second, but the twist itself, I mean, I think it hit pretty well. I liked how they, you kind of vote and then, rock draw, whatever. I mean, it gave an option of, okay, we'll send a few people there and then like it's just whatever. It's randomized with the rest of the group. So yeah, I think it hit. I wasn't bored. I thought
Yeah.
this season at least from other seasons, I haven't been too bored with the non-elims. Like I was actually like, oh shit, this is actually gonna like affect the next vote pretty damn well. So
Yeah, I agree. I think even though there was predictability, I do want to say like there was still intrigue because like the players and where the dynamics were. And so like it definitely was not boring either. I was like, okay, what's going to happen, especially when we get to the vote here. So obviously Kate's going to bring Morgan. We knew that was happening. She's going to bring her. We get to the vote, and so they're pretty much wanting to send Paulie over to break up Miles and Paulie. And then they are also, Logan becomes the target, but also Karin and some of the girls want to vote AJ. So Paulie does get the majority of the votes, but then ends up on a tie between Logan and AJ. And on the revote, Logan does go over. So this was very, very interesting. I'm wondering if like AJ gets like enough votes to go over and like what are the dynamics like now that AJ has in a way been voted out. So like I definitely wonder how that would have changed things.
I think AJ would have been in trouble. I
Yeah.
think the split would have absolutely been on Miles and AJ in that situation. And I don't think his relationship with Morgan and Kate could have done too much to change that. So, yeah, this was the survivor gods looking down on AJ. I think he would have been the next member of the jury instead of Paulie.
Yeah.
I 100% agree because Polly's kind of just an irrelevant piece at this point, in my opinion. So like he's kind of just floating right now. Like if someone wants to use him, they'll use him. If not, I mean, nobody's mad to get rid of him. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, at this point, AJ got pretty damn lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the new bounty tribe is Kate, Morgan, AJ, Karin, and Zara. The new Barren tribe is Paulie, Logan, Miles, Kaelan, and Kristen. So uh now we're gonna head into episode 17, and probably one of my favorite segments ever in a Survivor episode is Paulie being super depressed and angry, and you have the editing of like Paulie being like, "I'm so upset, I keep getting voted for," and you get the montage of JLP vote or reading out Paulie's votes like throughout the season. It's so good. Like I've never seen this on any other season. It's so wonderful.
No, it
Yeah,
was
you
nice.
get like the replay of the torch hitting him in the face, and then you also get a
Yes.
new one
Yeah.
of him being slapped by a branch. It's
Yeah.
like
I loved
the
it.
constant running. So I came up with a comparison that made me laugh. He's like the Hans Mole man of Survivor Australia. Anyone that's seen The Simpsons will get that. Anyone that hasn't won't. Um, but yeah, he's just constantly getting hit in the nuts by a football. That's his entire time here.
Yeah, or the Charlie Brown getting the football taken away from him by Lucy. So, so yeah,
Yeah,
this,
like literally, it's also funny to compare Miles and Polly. Like literally, Polly's just pissed and like just depressed, whereas Miles is like optimistic and still, got some kind of steam rolling. So it's funny. Like I'm pretty sure both of these guys have shit ton amount of votes. It's got to be similar at this point, but yeah, it's just crazy. Like how different contestants kind of take this pain, challenges and pain against them.
absolutely.
I really like the editing on the Bounty and Barren as well, where the Barren tribe was like super dark colors, and
Yes.
they took the saturation down on the beach, and then when it went to Bounty, it was like this burst of color and light,
Oh
and
my
it was
God. Yeah.
such a good little detail.
AJ's crying on a confessional about eggs. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. See, he's not a robot. He
Yeah. He has
feels emotion.
feelings.
He's
About
not
eggs.
Chat GPT. Not.
So anything else before we get to this immunity challenge?
I do like that we've got a bit of strategy from Kate and Morgan where they they want to try and build bridges with Karin and Zara, but don't feel like they have anything. But they do float the idea of the Miles split that Karin and Zara are having the same conversation on the beach, but it was Kate and Morgan that brought that plan to them. So we haven't seen too much of their strategy. So it was nice to see that, and I think it was absolutely the right plan. Obviously, it ends up being cancelled with an idol, but it was nice to see them do that and take that initiative to make a big move like that.
I also think this is where Miles kind of hints to Paulie about Kristen kind of floating and kind of not getting, any conversations, like she's gonna make it far. I thought that was just an interesting toss out to Paulie. Like, I don't know what Paulie can do with that information. I think he's just trying to talk it out loud, but I mean, that develops more throughout this episode, but it's funny to see right off the bat, like, oh, Miles, like someone's finally tossed this name out. Let's see what happens, type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, we're gonna get to the immunity challenge, and it's a Survivor Classic. It's get a grip, or the one where they're holding on to the pole. This is one that Ozzy's won almost every time, or if Ozzy's not there, then a skinny man or a woman.
Parvati.
Yeah, Parvati.
Parvati.
Yeah, Ty, I think, won it against Ozzy in one of his seasons, but Tyson won it, I think, at one time. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people have won this challenge. Ultimately, so the team that has at least one person left standing will win the challenge for their team. And so it basically comes down to Paulie versus Kate and is it Kate and Morgan or
Zara.
Zara, Kate and Zara. Okay. Yep. So Kate and Zara versus Paulie. Paulie gives it his best effort as he always has in a lot of these endurance challenges and just can't hang in there. And so unfortunately, the Barren tribe is going to be vulnerable at tribal council. But what did you guys think of this challenge here?
I mean, Paulie would be so much better at these challenges if he was a little more like nourished and like not mentally drained as he is. I just picture him living on he's holding onto the edge of a cliff and he's just like got 1,000 pounds strapped to his side and it's trying to drag him down. Like he's probably has nothing left. So like watching him give it his all there was like kind of like, damn, like he's really like he knows he needs this right now or else he's screwed. So I loved the effort. He gives me a lot of like fan like happiness watching him because of just how much he wants it. You can tell versus some of these contestants who kind of just throw challenges or don't care. But yeah, it was an eye-opening challenge. I love this challenge. I think I'd be the first one out though. So
yeah, I think
I'd suck at this one. Yeah,
yeah.
Paulie knew he was in trouble, so it is there's something nice about a challenge like that where you know you need it, so it's kind of like your fate is in your own hands in that way. But it was a difficult challenge for Paulie to win. They also had the disadvantage where they started lower on the pole than the Bounty tribe. So yeah, he was pretty screwed, but he's been screwed for about 10 episodes now.
Right, right. Yeah, I'd be scared of the heights. Like I can't do heights. I mean, yeah, I'd be able to like slide down to like the lower part. But obviously it's harder as it gets lower. And just like I'd just be terrified to like slide down because we've seen people also take very hard falls from this challenge.
I still wish he didn't get rid of Noonan, like
Yeah.
Paulie. I wanted to throw that one out there before we get too far. Like I keep watching these episodes, and in my head, I'm like, if Noonan was there, if Noonan was there, because I know Paulie's not getting fed information. I know he's not. He's just out on the limb. He's kind of just free floating spirit. She would be yapping up a storm to him about all this, and I just can still not believe he just tossed that vote out basically on her where they could have definitely just rogue voted a Logan or I think AJ was on that tribe too. Like he could have completely changed that game, but
Yeah.
again, I still have no idea why he voted her, but yeah, it's just crazy to me watching him just continuously be sunken at the bottom of this ship.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. I think not doing something to protect Noonan as well as himself. Like I just think that was misplay on Paulie's part because he's never been in power since then. So
especially with a season where it's so based on pairs,
yeah,
like him not having someone that he can chat to and have a pair with,
yeah,
like it's just the way the season's gone. And he tried to make that with Miles, or Miles tried to make that with him, but
yeah,
it was very clear that when push comes to shove, he was just an extra number for Miles, and when he doesn't need him anymore, he's going to get rid of him. So yeah, that was probably the end of Paulie's game, to be fair.
yeah. Agreed. All right. So anything before tribal, obviously Miles and Paulie become targets. Kristen and Logan's names also come up. So anything else before we get there?
I mean, they kind of,
Paulie's not.
yeah, that's basically what I was gonna say. Polly's kind of just getting the toss right here. I mean, I thought it was really interesting that they were all gonna throw it on Miles. This was part of the episode where I kind of watched too quick, so you guys can chip in after this, but I didn't know if Miles knew that they were voting him, so he was just playing his idol to save himself, or if he didn't know and he played the idol to kind of save himself. But I mean, they all at this point they know Miles has played a pretty solid game, so I mean him being the number one target just kind of know, and I feel like, but Paulie just being the second rogue one is just hilarious. Again, like I just said like 5 minutes ago, Paulie's just the soul that nobody will care, bye next, like just won't kill the tribe. But I mean, Miles tried with Kristen. I'm kind of surprised no one kind of bought into it. But I mean, that's their games they're trying to play. I feel like Kristen's a good float number, like better than a Paulie number. So yeah, I thought the part was kind of weird, but
Yeah,
Yeah, because so AJ did tell Miles
that's what I was. Yeah,
that he needed to play his idol.
sure.
And I really like that from AJ because he's been getting a lot of flack for like not following through with the plan and trying to change things up. So he does need to keep Miles in the game. It doesn't benefit him for Miles to go there, but he goes along with it. He writes Miles' name down, but he gives him the heads up that you need to play your idol. So AJ kind of comes out like the best of both worlds there. And then as soon as Miles tells Paulie that he has an idol, you just see the Paulie tailspin where it's like, how do I get these votes off me and onto someone else? And at that point, he just has to write Kristen's name down. Like he voted for Logan. And it's like, Miles has given you one option. It wouldn't have mattered, but
right.
like, at least that's an option that maybe doesn't get you the second number of votes once Miles plays as idol. But yeah, Paulie just was in a complete tailspin. I feel like the more he was talking and dragging people for conversations, the more he was just burying himself because people were just kind of done with him at that point.
Agreed.
I also mention how like interesting AJ's game was this episode. I mean, like he was talking to every single person and he was just having great conversations with them, like agreeing, telling them what the plan is. Just nobody's kind of like negating the fact that this could easily, if Miles is going to play an idol on him, we could easily just get rid of AJ here. But the fact that nobody did that this episode really starting to make me think like what he says in the next episode is really true. Like I have a number with everyone. I have an alliance with everyone. Like this dude is insanely insulated. Like he has bubble wrap all over him right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think AJ is pretty safe now. I feel like they missed their opportunities to get AJ out, and they're gonna pay for it. So
Even though they talked about the entire pre-merge, get AJ, get AJ, get AJ. Now nobody wants to get rid of AJ. How? Like how? It's so crazy to me.
even those first few merge votes are like the final 11, I think, or was it maybe not final 11, maybe it was like, yeah, later in the pre-merge, but like they literally had AJ dead to rights. They could get rid of him, and they chose not to.
And AJ might have been the
It's
one
been like,
going home if it wasn't for the was it Ben injury?
Uh,
Ben dropout. Is that his name? I forget.
yeah, Ben, yep, yep,
It was it
yeah,
was
they went to that tribal.
it was AJ or Paulie at
yeah,
least.
yeah. Yeah. I I mean, I think I would tend to believe I feel like they would have ended up taking Paulie out there. I think
That's
that
fair.
would have
Yeah.
happened. So, all right. So yeah, Miles the Jungle Rat does play his idol to live another day and negates 5 votes. Paulie is voted out 3 to 1 over Kristen and Logan. So Paulie joins Laura on the jury.
It's a good first two. Not gonna lie. Like those two definitely are like done with these people and they're gonna be able to watch every single tribal now. And kind of a flex, Miles. I mean, you're just negating votes left and right, and you've been on the bottom this whole entire season. Like I'd be flexing this after the season. Like I'm insanely surprised. Like this is very hard of a game to play that Miles is playing.
Mhm, mhm. Absolutely. I mean, again, this is another one where they probably should have taken the shot at Miles right after the knowledge is power play. Like it's just crazy that people aren't taking these shots when they should.
Yeah,
So,
he's playing a big game, but he seems to be really well insulated to be able to play it from a position of power as well. It's with the exception of like I don't think this happens if it wasn't for the Barren bounty twist. Like I think that escalated the vote on Miles. I think if it's a regular tribal council, I don't think his name probably comes up there. Um, so yeah, like I did like at this tribal as well, where Karin was just giving AJ the side eye the entire tribal council. Like, is he slipping information to Miles? Obviously, he'd already done it, but it's like you could just see her eyeing him with suspicion. Um, and yeah, we get it. We get a successful idol play. It was a fun tribal council. It reminded me of the Dirty Harry one. I need to say it. But with Miles playing it, it's like you're not going to get rid of the jungle rat that easy. It was very similar to like the you're going to need something bigger than a nuke when he plays his second.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I
I'll
also
have to watch for that one.
yeah, I also think Luke says
Good.
something similar in Champions versus Contenders too, where he's like, "You didn't think you could get rid of the Jungle King or the King of the Jungle that easy, did you?" So
Yeah, and then no one voted for him.
yeah, well, but I mean that one is defensible to waste that idle
Yeah,
there
yeah, for sure.
when you're down 2 to 7. So, um, all right, episode 18, the last third episode of the season, in a week. So here we go. So we do get to the reward challenge. Do you have,
Before we get to that, I have
yes.
to say one of my favorite quotes of the entire season, and it's fitting that it's in the episode where she goes home, where Karen's lamenting another failed plan, and she just says it's never straightforward with Tweedledee and Tweedle dipshit around.
Yes, that was a good quote. That was a good quote.
Amazing. Love it.
Oh, yes. Tweedledee and Tweedle dipshit.
Who's who? Do we know?
I don't
Not
know.
sure.
That I don't know. I mean, I feel like Miles should be, I don't know, but
I think Tweedledum is AJ and Dipshit is Miles.
okay. Yeah, I could see that. I was gonna say maybe because Miles made all these crazy plays, but and AJ's a robot, so I feel like Karin would be like, oh, I can't, the robot's the dipshit, but all right. Here we go. So the reward challenge, this is the domino challenge that we've seen before, but another interesting wrinkle in this one, they have to work as a team, a pair, and you have 2 sides of the domino, and you each have to fill in your side, so then your line can go across and take out both rows. This was a really interesting one. AJ and Kristen do win this, and they share it with Kaelan and Logan, and they win a spit roast and red wine.
My mind is always in the gutter, especially with JLP. So as soon as it was a spit roast, I was like, come on. Even the rewards are getting saucy now, JLP.
Yeah. Any thoughts on this twist on the challenge?
I thought it was a cool twist. I mean, now you have to work together and
Yeah,
something we've always seen. It's kind of an individual effort. So,
right.
it was fun to see. Like there was, I mean, it looks pretty freaking hard. Like you literally had to keep it balanced enough to hit each other. And I mean, if you're uncoordinated and that's your teammate, you're pretty much screwed. So,
Right. Yeah, I feel like I'd struggle with this type of challenge.
Yeah, same. I'd be screwed. It was a really tense challenge as well. Like, there was a lot of really close calls where that your survivor brain picks up the edit at this point when it comes to challenges when you know it's going to be, oh, this is the winning one. And then there was several times where it was like, oh no, it fell just short. It's like it was a fun challenge. I like this. And like the curved element of it as well. It's like again, they keep taking original challenges and just giving them little twists, and it just makes them more fun and original. Like we've seen so many challenges a million times. I like that they make the effort to do that.
Yeah, because I mean, we've seen this one. Another twist they did with this one was with George and Simon in Heroes versus Villains, where they had like the round table to go around. Like that was a really fun way to do that challenge as well. Um, but I liked this challenge. Anything of note at the reward or before the immunity challenge?
I mean, I like the Cranberries Alliance kind of forming
Yeah.
here. I did the funniest part about that is that the five names I threw in our group chat that I thought would be a final five, I didn't watch the Cranberries yet part until then, and four of the five were in that five, and I was cracking up. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I don't know if it was just my intuition kind of thinking to me like, oh, that could be an interesting four, and then it just randomly happened. But I was like, damn, that's kind of like a solid four because it made complete sense to me. So I was like, okay, I like this four, and we'll see if it actually pans out. So, um, yeah, I mean, these type of awards, you're just eating and kind of dialoguing at this point. But yeah, that was the only reason it was interesting for me. I was like, oh shit, I called that kind of.
Yeah,
I really love it, like a reward alliance that comes together. It's always fun, and so often they don't really come to much. But this seems like a good option for these people, especially someone like Logan. Like the fact she's been able to find herself some friends and a position for herself. And I tell you what, they need to be careful of Logan because I don't think it can be overstated how important the first juror is. Like Laura being on that first juror position, and we're going to see a tribal council, Logan,
influence.
giving information to the jury. Like if they let Logan get to the end, I could see her absolutely sweeping the jury with she's played a good game, she's made some big moves, and she also has, someone influential, steering things in her direction from the jury. So I think this was a great thing for Logan to come together with the Cranberries.
And I'll say this about her as well, because I obviously have her on my team. I've loved her since the beginning. Like she has had so many screwed points in this game to the point where I think they are definitely underestimating her at this point, where they're like, she's easy to beat at this point because she's just so like resume down. But she has a lot of friends. Like, is that why we've seen so much girl power at the start? Because it's Logan who gets to the end, and then the jury kind of is influential to her. You know what I mean? Like, she is gonna be someone that's tough to beat at the end. At depending on who it is, I'll just say that at least. But she's gonna be somewhat of a threat at the end because she's now getting into an alliance. She's rebounding her game after a huge stumble, and I mean let's say she gets rid of some of these big threats to get to the end. Like if that's her game, she's definitely got it. Like depending on who it is at the end. But I 100% agree with your first juror thing. Like she's gonna fight for Logan if she's there. She's
Yeah,
going to.
yeah. Firster always has a ton of influence on how things are going to play out. A lot of the time, not always. There's cases where they don't, but most of the time, I agree with
Right.
that.
I think Logan sweeps anyone but Miles, honestly.
Yeah. I mean,
That's fair.
I could see her maybe sweeping Miles in terms of social ability. But I like strategically, yeah, Miles has played the hell out of the game, but I can see her socially beating AJ and Miles.
The funniest thing actually would be if she took AJ to the end, and then because of their rivalry all season, and that AJ's always had the leg up on her, she finally flips it right at the end and beats him. I would crack up if that
Yeah.
happened.
If that's what this has been leading to, because I was definitely a little shocked that they were just able to actually work together this vote, because I thought of how things have been going. I thought that they wouldn't give, or she at least wouldn't give AJ the time of day. And so for uh them to actually work together is pretty crazy. So
I
uh
think I told you off the pod too that I thought that this too was kind of a Kirby and Ferris
yeah.
type of like a bigger extent of those like that dynamic that they're showing on the show, and I'm starting to think it again because I definitely tossed it out kind of halfway through the season, but now I'm like they keep showing those two like they kind of want to work with each other now. They kind of don't. This she hates him. Like, you know what I mean? They keep getting together. So I'm sitting here like these two might run into the sunset at the end here. I could definitely see it now.
Yeah, I realized after I recorded my reaction where I said I was a little confused as to them all of a sudden working together. I was like, okay, that's what Kirby and Ferris did all of Titans versus Rebels. So as they went against each other and then still came together and worked together. So
Like a working relationship. It's just like Karin with AJ. She like the husband, whatever analogy, the last
yeah,
episode. She hates this guy in the game, but she, keeps coming back.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get to the immunity challenge. And this is a really fun one. It is an obstacle course with the puzzle. But it turns really fun because Kaelan has this massive lead, is doing the puzzle. JLP says, Kaelan doing really well at the puzzle. And Kaelan's like, JLP, shh, don't tell everybody else how good I am at this puzzle. And JLP's like, oh, okay. Like, I love this
Love it.
interaction. It's so funny. And like, I love Kaelan even more with this.
Yeah, talking about Kaelan, like this week, like really, he jumped up in my estimations of him, and that is so smart. And you don't want people to know that he's already a challenge that you don't want to know he's good at puzzles too. And I just love him telling JLP to shush. And that's where I was like, think I might have a shot here. Like
But
I fully believe in Kaelan. I'm behind the Kaelan train. That was great. That was one of my favorite moments of the season. It was so funny when JLP like came over to him and was like, What's wrong?" And they were like whispering to each other. So funny.
yeah,
Kaelan cracks me up, man. Like he's a goofy young, man. I love it. Like he's helping Morgan come down from the stairs. Like he has all his pieces kind of lined up, waiting for her to get, somewhat ahead in the puzzle than AJ. And I just want to note, I love how AJ tries to downplay his challenge threat, and he continuously is like middle of the pack or top half of the top. Like I'm just like, I don't think people like care that you're trying to downplay it this much. Like they see that you're at the near top or you're doing decent at these challenges. So, I mean, I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny, but yeah, Kaelan just kind of chops it up, wins.
third immunity. Yep.
This would have been a challenge I would have loved to have competed in.
Yep.
That was fun.
I think you probably would have done pretty well, and then like it would have come down to the puzzle, of course, but I think you could probably win this one.
See, puzzles, I don't know. Puzzles are like my weakness. I don't
Yeah.
know. I would have had a lead like Kaelan.
Yeah, yeah,
I would have needed some time.
right. Yeah. I don't know. I'd do pretty terrible at the physical part and then hope to get to the puzzle and make up some ground. But all right. So yeah, Kaelan wins his third immunity. So we get to the scramble, and this is important. So Karin's name is being brought up as the one to get rid of. Kristen doesn't agree with it and decides to leak the plan to Karin, which gets tribal going. And we get to tribal, and Karin decides to go all Russian roulette, exposing everyone, which angers Kristen, who just went to bat for her that she's being exposed. And yeah, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on this entire scramble session leading through tribal?
This is fun. This was fun. You also have AJ leaving Miles out as a plan, which I really enjoyed. And like, Miles has been so in the loop on everything for so long. It was, I think it's smart to kind of keep someone that's already a big threat out of something like that. Like AJ wants this to be his move. It's not about Miles. And then Miles accidentally comes up with a plan that purely unintentionally completely ruins the plan. And it's like, oh shit, we've got too many numbers on Zara now. We need to change it. So it's all just this escalation from that decision to leave Miles out and him happening upon the only person that he could vote for that would actually affect things.
Yep. Yep. Austin.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot believe that Karin like killed her game there, basically. I was a little relieved because AJ needed Zara to stay instead of Karin. So like that was nice to like that she did all that and caused that for herself, I guess. But I mean, I definitely thought it was gonna actually be Zara for a sec until she kind of killed herself there.
Mhm.
Which, in the moment, like it's hard to say, like I can't relate to her in the way that she played a real game and I played like an online version of this, but like I definitely have lost my cool before in a moment
Yes.
like that. So I can see like her in that moment thinking, screw it, I'm gonna blow this up 'cause I'm probably going home anyway. And which in reality it was probably gonna be very close and she could have probably swayed and like I mean, she had Kristen already. Like she could have probably played it out or tried to sway one person and maybe got out of it. But again, she didn't want to vote out Zara, which I mean, you kind of have
And
to
she
at that
did.
point.
She did try.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Like,
kind of have to at that
yeah, it
point.
was kind of like the worst of both worlds. The best player there is, Kristen's give you this information. She's willing to change her vote. You just have to lose Zara and replace her with Kristen, and you're still in the game.
Yep.
But I don't. I always appreciate players that don't just settle for like one spot higher. And she tried to go down swinging, doing something that would actively change her game and put her in a better position long term if it had worked. Um, and whether she started third juror or fourth juror doesn't really matter.
Right.
You're better off at least taking that big swing. So I think it was good that she at least attempted it and she made a lively tribal council and went down with a bang. So yeah, good for her.
I
Yeah.
think what got to her in these past few episodes, I think her downfall was literally AJ getting in her head, in my opinion. She would have not have been in the predicament she was in because last week she was kind of sitting fine and pretty, right? Well, this week she actively has been like against AJ. She kept saying in her confessionals she wants him gone, like she's sick and tired of him pulling the strings. What if you just let him pull a few more of the strings and because he wasn't gonna want Zara gone. And you know what I mean? Like there was a lot of alignment with Karin and AJ that just kept making me think like, why are you doing this? Like, are you just that upset with AJ to the point where you're just done with him being in the top and you want to be at the top instead? Whereas maybe if she kind of just let it happen for another round or two, she probably could have gotten a one up at some point. You know what I mean? So I think she just got really agitated, which I get. It's hard being on an island with someone that you're just so done with. You know what I mean? So I kind of get it. Like I said, I get the blow up, but she could have probably dealt with this the past few days differently, and she probably would be in a good spot still.
Yeah.
And she's had so many of her plans like go wrong.
Yes.
I think it was just like every tribal council doesn't go the way she was expecting. And I think it just started to get to her and she was just fed up and frustrated. Yeah. And, 30 odd days on an island with no sleep, no food, your brain just starts to deteriorate and she just had enough. Like, I totally understand that. It's not optimal, but I understand it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the funniest thing is compare Logan to her. Like Logan, I thought would have done what Corinne did. That's what I thought would like she would have exploded the past two episodes, but no, she's kept her cool. And now look at her, she's in an alliance with AJ. So you kind of got to work with the demon sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The blow up is always fun to watch. I mean, we've gotten live tribals for like 20 seasons in the US at this point. And so they're always fun to watch, but and sometimes fun to do and I won't lie, but more often than not they sometimes like they don't really change anything. They kind of more so just accelerate your position, your bad position in the game. There's cases where that it does change things, but um Yeah, I really liked Karin this season. I thought she was smart and strategic, and she had things going for her, and then things just didn't go her way continuously in the late pre-merge to early merge, and then everything just fell apart. But I respect her for being in this season. I think she was a good player. I wouldn't mind seeing her again, at some point down the road. But yeah, I and also losing another player that sucks. So,
Yeah,
but
I last thing on Karin before she goes, like she was one of my favorites. I feel like she has my exact sense of humor. She made me laugh so much. She had such like a dry, deadpan
yes.
sense of humor with the blank expression and just really sarcastic, cutting comments. I thought she was great. She was a lot of fun. I liked Karin.
Mhm, mhm.
I was a fan of her. Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. So 5-3-1 over Zara and Miles. She is gone. We have three members of the jury. All right, let's go to our week 6 draft check-in. Austin, you're still in first with 5 people. You have Morgan, Kristen, AJ. You have Zara, and who is the last one?
AJ, Logan, Zara, Morgan,
Logan. That's
Kristen.
AJ, Logan, Kristen, Morgan, Zara. Yep. And then I am in second with 2. I went from 4 to 2. I lost Paulie and Karin. I am now only one ahead of Michael, and I just have Miles and Kate. And Michael is in third with just Kaelan.
I acknowledge my tribal chief, Kaelan. My wrestling people will get that one. I'm putting my ones up for him. I believe in Kaelan. I only need one. You don't need 8 draft picks. You need one. You need the winner. You need Kaelan.
What if we like Austin could lose like 4 people like in the next couple weeks? What if we like all end up with one in the final 3? That'd be insane.
That would be fun.
I mean, hey, the US 47, literally, Sarah, Kevin, Cam, and I all ended up with one in the final 4 somehow, and Sarah was in the lead the entire time and then got last. So it can
I
happen.
got this.
They don't call it an underdog story. Come
Yeah.
on. Come on, Kaelan.
All right, predictions for the I guess now the last 3 weeks. But predictions for next week. Rocks? Question mark. Are we getting rocks next week?
Oh my God. I feel like it's not gonna happen for some reason. I feel like it's gonna be like one vote off or something.
Probably, but who knows?
There's some chaotic people, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. If we get a rock draw like this season jumps up a level,
Yes.
as long as Kaelan doesn't go home in a rock draw, just keep winning them immunities, Kaelan. But yeah, give us a rock draw. We haven't had one.
Yeah.
Have we had one in Survivor Australia at all?
We got close in
There was
All-Star.
one in All Stars that didn't happen.
Yeah, it was close, but Jackie got turned on because Sharn promised them she.
Excuse me?
um, I'm trying to think. I don't think we ever have had a rock draw on Australian Survivor.
They keep saying it's gonna be history for a rock draw, so I'm assuming there hasn't been.
Yeah, yeah. No, there. I can't think of one. Someone will tell us in the comments that we missed this happening, but
Why does AJ want a rock draw? Like, what is wrong with you people?
because
You
he's
guys are
the Chaos
insane.
Gremlin. Even Miles are Chaos Gremlins. They're literally joking.
I think AJ might win immunity because I would not be saying that it would be fun if there was a rock draw.
Maybe.
But it would be fun as a viewer, as someone trying rocks, I would be terrified. But also I feel like if you go out that way, I don't know. For me, I would laugh if I went out to rocks. It'd be funny, honestly. Like I feel like it'd be funnier than getting betrayed. It'd also be devastating at the same time, but I would laugh.
I don't want to say this because I know Michael's gonna get sad, but if there's a rock draw, I have a weird feeling it's gonna be Kaelan that gets the draw.
No. No. Let's
I
not put
just
that out into the world.
for some reason I have that weird feeling that the edit wise, we're just now seeing him get up there. I almost feel like they want us to start loving him just to kill us. I don't know.
I'm going to throw it back at you and say it's going to be Morgan. How do you like that?
That's insane. That's insane. My girl. I would probably actually shed a tear if that's how she went home, but
I don't know. I feel
play
like,
these games, Mike.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, for all my luck, it could be like Kate. Like,
I
honestly.
don't think it is, man. I think AJ, Kate are gonna be fine for a rock draw for some reason.
Yeah. What if it's the jungle rat? If it's the jungle rat, that's how the jungle rat dies, is rocks.
I would actually be mad. That I would actually be mad. The fact that this dude saved his life like hundreds of times and then it's a fucking rock that gets him. Oh my God.
Would
If
be
you're going to kill a rat, you need a big rock.
That's true. That is true. Exactly.
We kill the rat with a rock.
All right. Well, that is the end of week 6. We got 3 weeks left now instead of 2. So we will be back next week. And also coming up in a couple weeks, you can catch all of us on more Survivor stuff because we got our Survivor 1 through 50 for the US coming up. So you will get a trailer if you're subscribed to the channel. And yeah, we hope you are because it's going to get crazy. So we will see you all next time on the Tribe of Nerds.